welcome to all of the parents for this 11 plus parents afternoon question and answer session. So in today's session, we are aiming to address all the questions which are coming from the parents side. Usually in the month of March, we get lots of messages and the calls with regards to the how to exactly name this 11 plus exam, what sort of key strategies we should able to adopt, what are the planners and what kind of exam resources and expert guidance we can seek in order to master this 11 plus exam, which is going to start in the month of August and September. So instead of addressing all these questions one by one, we always arrange a webinar and the Q&A session. In today's webinar, I would like to welcome my colleague Louise. She's English 11 plus exam tutor, and she is the one who wrote a lot of answers to a lot of 11 plus exam past papers. She designed a lot of video courses, lots of comprehension courses, including the practice papers as well as the past papers. Coming to my background, I'm looking into the maths department, and we have many papers on our website, which are 11 plus exam maths past papers along with the topic wise. And we do run a lot of 11 plus courses during the Easter holidays for maths as well as for English. So this is pretty much a background of the people who are here in the today's webinar to answer all of the questions and the answers. So to begin with, we will wait for all your questions to be answered by our expert tutors, and we will take your questions one by one. I will address all the maths and VR related questions, and Luis will take over all the English related questions. So here we go. Please feel free to drop all your questions here, and we will take all the questions one by one. Yeah, we are still waiting for the question. So as and when they come, we will start addressing it.
Right.
So here is a question: how much the student should aim for to pass? It depends upon the timeline. Say, for example, if we are talking about this month, and considering the highly competitive schools for 11 plus exam, we may consider the grammar schools right now. So in the month of March, we expect around the child should be in the range of 70 to 80%. So over the period of time in the month of April to May to June, this percentage can go up by 5 or 10% throughout until the exam point is reached. So to answer this question, as of now, if your child is scoring about 70% to 80%, it's a good beginning point. And over the time, you can increase this percentage by practicing a lot of papers and solving past papers in a very structured and the planned way. Gitesh is having this question. This time, where should we focus on? Either on question paper or topic-wise questions. Sure, I will start by taking this question as an example, which is related with the maths. I can show you on my website. So if you go to PiAcademy.co.uk under 11 plus papers, you will see there is a 11 plus maths past paper as well as the topic wise. So to start with the step-by-step process in order to get maximum score for any subject, this is the procedure. So what you can do is, if you have a look at 11 plus maths topic wise, my strong suggestion is I will open this web page for you and I will explain through that. You can see on the right hand side, we have a lot of, it's a pretty intense list of 11 plus maths topics. So you can have a look. So step one is make sure that your child knows all the topics. The child has practiced sufficient questions on each topic. And once you are confident that 11 plus maths exam syllabus is completely covered, then you need to switch to the papers. So step one is to practice all the syllabus and the topics and then go to the papers. Now there is a certain way by which you can start solving these papers with your child. And if you look on my website, there is a download planner button here. You can download the planner and you can follow the planner. The way we have structured this planner, I will show you very quickly. So the way we have structured this planner, you can see in the D column of this spreadsheet, all the papers which belongs to that particular school have listed here in the D column. But what's important is to have a look at the paper level. So as I said, in the month of March, you should starting all the easy level paper. Then maybe in April, you can go with the medium, May and June, hardest difficulty paper. So don't start practicing however you like. Best thing is to follow our planner, and you can document everything in this planner. If you look on the right hand side, you can document marks scored, percentage achieved, wrong answers, big topics, because this is really important. It's not just about practicing the paper and looking at the quantity. It's more about the quality. So once the one paper is practiced, make sure that you are sitting with your child, going through all the wrong answers coming through these papers. You are documenting it and you are frequently revising these answers. So to conclude this question, step 1, practice the syllabus, and step 2, practice the papers as per the planner. So the next question here is, okay, do you have any Sutton comparison text question paper? Yes, absolutely. We do have Sutton papers. And again, go back to our website under 11 plus paper. You see there is a 11 plus practice papers, CEN, GL, ACT and CSSE. We will send you the link of ACT papers in the chat. You can have a look at that. So here are the ACT papers. ACT has recently changed the style of English. So we kept the new style format for the ACT papers, which you can see it here. My team will send you the ACT paper link so you can subscribe it. I mean the actual score, not at SAT score. Yeah, I'm talking about actual score only. I'm not talking about any SAT score because SAT exams are very, very easy. 11 plus exam is a competitive exam, and the entire webinar session is related with 11 plus exam only. There is a question from Susan. Do you know what sort of English exams student have to take at tiffins too? Yes, it depends upon, again, this question I will address it based on my past experience, but always remember all the parents are requested to check the official website of the school because they keep changing the patterns every year. Assuming last year's pattern, the second round of the tiffin is extended maths, extended English type of paper, and in order to practice those paper, best way to practice is through our 11 plus paper. We have 11 plus maths past papers and 11 plus English papers. So in English paper, we do have actual question paper which is completely answered along with the creative writing, and that is what tiffin second round is looking at. So the best resource is 11 plus maths and 11 plus English. Here we have solved the entire papers and including the creative writing. So you can have a look at this subscription. We will send you the link here for these two papers. There is a question from Monica: how to prepare for English if my child has to appear for different boards for the grammar schools? Yeah, this is really good question. And as I always say, you should not be focusing on what grammar school exam you are applying for, but your full focus should be on completing the 11 plus exam syllabus, because every grammar school has a different board. Some schools may have GL board, some schools may have CEM board, but what is more important is to cover the entire 11 plus exam syllabus. And that's the reason why you need to ensure that the foundation for both the subject is ready. And how to do that, I just now explained on our website. You must take these 11 plus math past paper and 11 plus English past paper so that you can have a good amount of practice, because we have 10,000 plus questions and more than 100 plus creative writing. So if you practice that, you can't go wrong. There is a question from Nabia: when is the best year to start 11 plus prep? In my opinion, we have 3 levels of 11 plus preparation. So year 3, which is the basic level, year 4, which is the intermediate level, and year 5, which is actually 11 plus exam. So best you should start preparing early, ideally in year 3, but not, if not, you can start in year 4, but don't leave it in year 5. We haven't finished the subject yet. Is it too late? Yes, it is too late, to be very honest. You have to aim to finish your syllabus by the end of February or max by March, but still, nothing to discourage you, but try to finish the syllabus as soon as possible. Gitesh is asking a question. This time, where should we focus on, either on question paper or topic wise? I think I have addressed that question already. It is normal to have the lower score in English than maths. Not really. It all depends upon the child. I would say, in my opinion, I haven't seen that English scores are always less than the maths. But it depends upon what type of student is, because some students they love maths and some students they love languages. So it all depends. For Suttons, can you please recommend books to practice comparison text? That's a very good question, actually. This question may be addressed by Luis much deeper way. So, Luis, I will pass on this question to you. So,
Sure.
Where can people find the comparison text?
Yes. For this one, I would say because the text, like the style of the text in the exam is quite specific in terms of like the format of the paper, it's going to be hard to find like two texts that you can compare with. But because what they usually do is they usually compare them very closely. So you have like a similar topic or a similar like event that takes place in both texts, which allows you to compare them. So the main thing I would say is practice those SET papers for the comparison skills. But if you just want to practice more of your like reading ability and, you know, being able to read more challenging texts, yes, in this, as you can see on the screen, this is the section that will help you to compare. But what we typically use for these SET papers is harder, older texts. So what I always suggest is practicing reading like books that have been written a good while ago. I'm going to list off a few here. I've got a little list here because I saw this question. It's things like, I'm going to just list a few, like things like Treasure Island, you know, Robert Louis Stevenson, another book by him, Kidnapped, Robinson Crusoe, Gulliver's Travels, Around the World in 80 Days, like these kind of like classic texts that are going to be challenging to read, but are going to get you able to understand harder passages with more ease. And so if you want to practice comparisons, you know, you could even take two adventure books, for example, find two novels that have a similar style, two adventure books, take two passages and get your students to identify all the similarities between them. So if you're able to find two books that have a similar genre, two fantasy stories, two adventure stories, two romance stories, two mysteries, you know, get them a section from each of those and allow them to read the passage and say, okay, what can you spot that's the same? What can you spot that's different? That's kind of an activity you could do. But my main advice is to look for more of those more challenging texts to practice reading at a harder level. I think that hopefully answers the question.
That's nice. That's nice. Very informative, Luis. Thank you so much. Have you got any papers suitable for Eton College? Yes, definitely we do have papers and we will send you the link here. Under the scholarship section, you will find the Eton College papers. We will give you the link in the chat. Can you recommend any strategies for completing the verbal reasoning question? So when it comes to the verbal reasoning, there are two types of verbal reasoning. One, which is a mathematical side of the verbal reasoning, and another one is the English style of verbal reasoning. What would be helpful for parents, you know, to go to our 11 plus papers, and we have a lot of papers which are related with 11 plus verbal reasoning, and we have covered everything. So if you follow these papers, those papers will be very, very helpful. So in order to answer your question, what sort of strategies? I think the strategy is going to be the same. Number one, you must practice all the topics, ensure that the child knows the concept. It doesn't matter what subject it is. And secondly, you should practice enormous amount of papers. And thirdly, make sure you are not just practicing the paper with your child, but going through all the wrong questions, because that's where exact the problem is. Because whenever the child is answering any type of wrong question, it means the child is weaker in that particular topic. So unless and until you master that topic with your child, do not try to solve further papers, because that is not going to improve your scores. So mastering weak areas is extremely essential in order to get the boost in the scores. Here you go. In on this page, you can see we have lots and lots of papers. So start practicing these papers. These are categorized as per the topic. And once these papers are done, then you can solve the proper exam style of paper where all the topics are mixed up. English, there is a question from Sunita Kumar. English, for English, do children need to know exhaustive list of literary devices, including symbolism, imaginary, etc.? I will pass on this question to you, Louis.
Yes, it's a good question, and I would say yes. This is like essential part of English. They need to know how to identify them, and they need to know how to use them. Now, when you say an exhaustive list, obviously there is a huge amount of literary devices out there, but the core ones are going to be, the ones that they're familiar with at school. Things, such as trying to go for ones that are a little bit more challenging, irony, anaphora, things beyond the core ones that they learn in school. Not so much, but they need to know metaphor, simile, personification. They need to know onomatopoeia, alliteration, all of those key devices. So we do have all of these things that you can practice them on our creative writing courses. You can practice them in our comprehension courses. There are maybe about 10 or 11 that they definitely need to know. But the main thing is get those core ones in their minds, not only to be able to identify them, but to be able to use them as well. So yes, I would say they do need a pretty exhaustive list, but it doesn't need to be any of the too obscure ones. It needs to be the core ones that they're very familiar with using, because that's what's going to appear in their texts. I hope that answers the question.
And also, we are releasing our literary devices package in about 3 weeks of time. So if you are our member, or if you have subscribed to even our newsletter, you will get this literary devices release very, very shortly. So stay tuned with PiAcademy web pages, and you can always open up our emails, and we are posting our new products very, very shortly. And one of the product is the literary devices, because like you, there are so many parents who are not much aware about literary devices. And when it comes to the creative writing, which is the second round of 11 plus grammar school examination, if you are not using these literary devices, then the child may lose the mark. So it is a very important factor for 11 plus exam. Yeah. Will you be adding more solved English papers in the 11 plus English section? It hasn't been updated in a while. Well, not really. Our website is always updated. Of course, if the school is publishing the paper, we definitely put those papers on our website, and we keep updating literally after 2 to 3 months in order to show you. I will open our 11 plus English papers. In fact, we are the top website in the market who keeps updating every resource on our website. So the moment school releases the paper, they get updated on our website. So you can see North London Collegiate paper, which is 2022 paper. So entire table gets updated in the month of March and April. So we are properly tuned with all the latest releases. And in the same note, I would like to also add what the question was from Sunita. As you can see on this web page, we have more than 90 papers. I guarantee you that none of the child can finish 90 papers in a year. I mean, even if we keep updating with more and more, it's not going to add much value, because you see here we have 108 paper. So in 52 weeks, I think one paper takes at least 1 week, because these are pretty intense papers. So if you are solving these papers with your child, just do not solve it for sake of solving it. What is more important is to go through the wrong questions, make sure that your child understands those questions and the model answers, and including the creative writing. So that is very, very important. You won't finish these many papers, in a year. I guarantee you that. So yeah, our web pages are highly updated, I must say that. Is the QE GL test harder than usual GL test that you can find? Bonds, and of course, yeah, if you are aiming for QE boys, yes, whatever the material you find it in the market, definitely that is not going to be the part of the exam, because every child or every parent is solving those materials, papers with their children for the QE exam. However, you can see on our website under 11 plus paper, we have specifically curated paper for QE boys. And we know that QE boys exam is the UK's most competitive exam, and hence our GL paper are with a very high difficulty level of paper. If your child secures about 90% in our paper, it's a good chance to get the QE school like that. So our papers are quite different than the other providers in the market. We kept in mind that QE is highly competitive school. There is a question, where do I find the questions that are linked to my age group? So I don't know what is year 3. Okay, sure. I can walk you through. So on our website, you see there is a pre-11 plus papers. Pre-11 plus papers, and you can definitely take an advantage of 8 plus, 9 plus, 10 plus past papers. So this is where you can use it for year 3, or if you feel that this is little higher level, you can start practicing for 7 plus papers. Once the child is confident with the 7 plus papers, you can move on to the 8 plus, 9 plus, 10 plus papers. So it's on our website under pre-11 plus, the first tab on the website, just underneath of the logo. We will send you the link here though. So there is a question from Lara. Past papers and your planner are more for independent school. What is best for the grammar schools like Kent and Bexley? Yeah, this is really nice question, and I do get this question very often. First thing, as a parent, you must understand that whether it is a grammar school or independent school, 11 plus exam syllabus is not different. What happens in the grammar school, the exam board is a GR and the format of the paper is a multiple choice. That's the only difference. But regardless, you must, or your child must be knowing all the topics covering in the 11 plus exam. So though we have 11 plus independent school paper on our website, please do not misunderstand. It covers the entire 11 plus exam syllabus. And just for your information, Lara, you will never ever find any grammar schools past papers because they do not publish any past papers. So by all means, you can subscribe to our 11 plus maths independent school papers, because at the end of the day, 11 plus exam syllabus is exactly same for independent and the grammar school. The difference is only with the exam boards and the pattern of the exam. So make sure that the sufficient practice is given to the child in order to cover the exam and the topics at a deeper level. Can you please explain what is the difference between the creative writing and continuous writing? I think, Luis, you can explain this. What is the difference between the creative writing and the continuous writing?
Well, creative writing just refers to like tasks where you are given, this is what you have to write. Continuous writing can refer to either like longer descriptive answers, like longer descriptive actual comprehension answers, or it can refer to creative writing. They're kind of interchangeable in some papers. Sometimes they refer to it as continuous writing, i.e. it's not bullet points or it's not like single words. It's continuous long descriptive writing. That can either refer to the task at the end, the specifically writing task, or that can refer to the style of, the questions, the comprehension questions. So they're just two different terms that are used in different papers depending on how the format is. Sometimes they'll say creative writing and they're referring specifically to that section. Sometimes they'll say continuous writing and they're referring to that section on the end, or the style of comprehension questions. So I wouldn't worry too much about those two different types. They're essentially just knowing how to write in full sentences accurately with grammar and correct spelling, and sometimes continuous writing can also refer to comprehension. And so, I will say one other thing. Sometimes they say continuous writing if they're referring to continuing the story. So sometimes you have to read a passage and then the creative writing part will involve continuing what you read. So sometimes they can say that, but it just means that it's longer. It's longer style writing rather than short note form or multiple choice. That's basically the difference.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Liz. So there is a question again, I think it's on the similar note. How about specific questions targeting for Kendrick? Again, Kendrick is a grammar school, and I already explained that please do not differentiate between the grammar schools and the independent schools, because you need to think about 11 plus exam syllabus overall. And in order to nail this exam, whether it is a Kendrick, QE, or any grammar school, you must practice all the 11 plus maths past papers and English past papers, because that will cover the full syllabus. You don't need to do anything extra apart from this, because if you look at the papers for maths, we have 180 papers. If you look at the papers for English, we have 108 papers. Honestly speaking, if you practice these many resources, you cannot go wrong. It doesn't matter whether it is a grammar or independent. You will not get any question out of this syllabus. Do you have specific practice packages for London Consortium? Yeah, I think I have partially answered this question. Do not worry about the exam boards. London Consortium, a couple of years ago, they had, I think, CEM pattern, and I think they're thinking to change it now to the GL. So again, the same understanding for all the parents is required, that do not think about the boards. Think about finishing the syllabus, because in month of March, April, May, and even for June, completing the syllabus, mastering all the topics, solving all the past paper questions, it's must. Last 2 months, you aim to capture the specific papers which are related with the GL or CEM. So for London Consortium, as far as I am aware, the exam pattern either can be GL or maybe CEM, and you can find those bespoke papers on my website under 11 plus papers, grammar schools. I will show you here quickly. 11 plus papers under 11 plus practice papers, you will see all the boards. So this is the most important link for all the parents, which they can subscribe to just about 2 to 3 months prior to the exam, because these are board specific papers. But in order to do these papers with your child, remember one thing, you must be covering the entire 11 plus exam syllabus. If you have not covered the 11 plus exam syllabus and topic wise, I would not suggest you to start practicing these papers, because these papers serve as a kind of home mock exams. So you should touch these papers once you are confident that your child is consistently good in every topic. The child has practiced past papers, the child score is about 80 to 85%, and then move on to these board specific papers close to the exam. Okay, so there is a one question: how to prepare if we are targeting both state grammar and independent schools, which will be both CEM and GL? I think I have addressed that question. The web page is in front of you. So basically, you can note down 3 important links on my website. Yeah, the first one, which is 11 plus paper, and the top row, which is Maths, English, VR, and NVR. This is where you should practice all your topics. And when it comes to the board specific, the second row, second card, 11 plus practice past papers. Yeah. And then if you realize, okay, my child is not good at SPAC, not good at vocab or comprehension or creative writing, you can subscribe to all the typical papers where you feel that your child is having the weak areas. And finally, if somebody is preparing for independent school exam, they can practice the interview guide. So this is how the sequence should be. You can follow the exact card sequence, which is on my website. This is how you should start practicing. Your VR and NVR bundles, are they suitable for GL preparation? Yes, absolutely. You can definitely use our bundles for GL preparation. Okay, GL, CEM, for me, it doesn't matter, because same syllabus need to be covered. Are past HBS papers available? Some tutors seem to have them. As I said, grammar school will never ever publish any past paper. So if any other tutors are providing, I'm not sure. They can't give access to the grammar school past paper. That is not allowed, and you wouldn't even find those past papers onto the official school website. For HBS, I don't think there is any past paper available. How many mock tests would you suggest and how often? This is extremely good question actually. And, I mean, we are making one YouTube video on the same question because we get this question literally from 90% of the parents. So to answer your question, my suggestion to you is, number one, you should not start taking the mock if your child is not practice all the topics. If your child has not practiced sufficient past papers, do not waste your money in going in a center and attempting the box, because that will significantly affect your child's motivation. So when you are going for a mock exam, you should start taking the mock exam around first week of May. That is my personal opinion, because by that time the child has finished all the topics and the child has practiced some of the past papers to get a feel of what type of questions will be asked in the exam. So first week of April, you can take first mock. Then maybe mid of June, you can start taking the second mock, and end of August or maybe second week of August, like that, you can take a third mock. Do not exceed more than three mocks. In fact, you should not exceed more than two mocks. What is more important, once you get the result of the mock exam, make sure that what are the areas where your child lost the mark. Because if you do not go over the weak areas, these mock results are not going to not going to add much value. The best part of the mock exam is to come over with the anxiety or fear about going for the exam. So this is really important for any parent to at least go with two mocks and max three mocks, but do not overdo it, because that is not going to add any value. Having said that, very shortly after couple of weeks, we are having our guided mock, which is a completely free mock, and you can join our guided mock session where our team is directing the students to take the mock exam online, and there will be like 50 students who are taking the mock, and it will be a very very good practice for your child. As I said, subscribe to our newsletter so that you will get the notification of our guided mock exam, which is absolutely free. We are putting this to help the parents out to identify the weak topics, and that will be very helpful session for everyone. How are the Bucks Maths GL papers different to SW Hertz Maths GL papers? Honestly speaking, I never differentiated in a column wise what is the difference between the Bucks and what is a SWH Hertz GL papers, because it is not at all essential. And I would suggest parent not to look at the differences. What is more important for you to make sure that your child is fully prepared on the 11 plus exam, because even though you look for the differences, you will never predict what type of question will come in which type of exam, and hence it is very important to cover the syllabus in and out. Do you have the detailed 11 plus syllabus? Of course, we do have a lot of 11 plus syllabus. We have a lot of blog articles where we have written down the entire 11 plus exam syllabus. We are sending you the links in the Zoom chat here. You can store those links and you can see. But the best place to see the syllabus as a bird's eye view, if you go to our 11 plus paper and click on any subscription, literally any subscription, on the landing page, whatever you see in terms of topics is the 11 plus exam syllabus. So that's the best way to have a look about the syllabus, because we try to cover literally each and every topic within the syllabus through our 180 papers. So if you follow this link and check the 11 plus maths topics, that is what 11 plus maths exam syllabus is, and likewise applied for English. My child is has a spiky profile that is very good at maths, weak at English. Let's say if he gets 90% in maths and 70% in English, is he going to be penalized for this? Yeah, tricky question. I really don't know. But what I feel is you have to improve the percentage of English. because they sometimes give more weightage for English nowadays. I can tell you a couple of tips. I can give you a couple of tips how you can improve your child's English percentage. Very, very, very easy. I will show you a couple of videos which Luis has developed. If you go to our video section on our website, videos, there are two videos here. One which is for comprehension, and other one which is for creative writing. And we have developed and designed these video courses based on the pain points for the parents as well as for the students. So what we have done in these courses, as you can see, we covered the entire syllabus for 11 plus English comprehension. You can see there are the chapters like Introduction to PE, Information Retrieval, Vocabulary. And in this course, you will see a video, and once the video is over, the child need to attempt the homework, worksheets, and all the homeworks and worksheets are associated with the detailed answer. So if you practice these two videos along with the homeworks and worksheets, I guarantee you that your child's percentage will definitely shoot up by minimum of 15 to 20%, and he can reach to 90%. So best way is not to leave that 70% as it is. You need to encourage your child to push his percentage higher, because it might be penalized. You are right, actually. It might be penalized. We can't predict that. There is another question coming from Imtiaz. What percentage should a child be scoring in the board specific paper to stand a good chance of passing the exam and gaining the entry? This is again very good question. I already answered this question partially. It depends upon the timeline. So when you are in the month of March, it will be 70, April 80, and May maybe 85, and then June, July, August consistently 90 and above. So that will give a good basis to gain a place. Here the question again from Sunita: what other English reading books can you recommend? We do have an extensive list of English reading books, isn't it, Louis? Can we share this with the parents? So our team at PiAcademy will share those lists with you. Please connect us on our WhatsApp group. We will be sending you our WhatsApp group link here in the chat. Join that group, and then you can message my team and they will send you the entire reading book list. But that's a very good question, and many of the parents ask me this question. I can also show you one very interesting thing which you can start using it. So under 11 plus courses on our website, we are running a reading club. Most of the children, I think somebody asked me the question, my child is scoring only 70% in English. And this is the case with most of the boys, because they are pretty reluctant for English, because language is not the most favorite thing especially for the boys. So what you can do is you can start taking this reading club. This club runs twice in a week, and this will encourage your boy or a girl or any student, in order to participate and read the books or the text, along with the tutor, and that will help you to build your child's vocabulary, because the way English works is way different than how the maths works. Because maths you can teach your child by teaching some formulas, and it's very straightforward. But when it comes to English, extensive reading throughout the year is very, very essential to build the vocabulary. And that's why we are running this reading club. We are sending you the link in our chat. Whoever feels that their child's performance in English is low, by practicing even hundreds of paper, that's not going to improve immediately. It's a very consistent process, and all the parents should put more effort on the reading, because that's the only way where child can build the vocabulary, and it comes only through the reading. There is no other way that you can significantly boost the percentage of English overnight. That is not going to happen. So you still have 6 months, and you have to really plan it well when it comes to the English language preparation. What other English reading books can be recommended? Yeah, we will send you the full list. My child struggles with spelling and vocabulary. how to help him. Luis, I will pass on this question to you, spelling and vocabulary.
Sure. For vocabulary, kind of off the back of what you were just saying, similarly, reading is going to really help. We do have some worksheets and various modules that you can practice for different styles of vocabulary on the website. So the main thing is reading, collating little like vocabulary books of your own. So anytime you read it and you come across a word you don't know, you can look it up. Encouraging your child to actively look words up in a thesaurus can be really useful. And so they can gather their own words in a little book that they can revise and look over and that kind of thing. That can be a really useful tip for vocabulary, as well as displaying keywords around the house, having places where you put things up so they can see them regularly, creating mind maps of key synonyms and antonyms. So like small activities like that day to day can really help to improve vocabulary. For spelling, there's lots of different things you can do for spelling. The main thing is kind of getting to grips with the key rules, double letters and endings and suffixes, prefixes. If you practice kind of rule by rule, that can really help. But of course, with spelling, there's always a level of memorization that needs to come into it. Of course, it takes practice, takes time. And it may be that they need to have a sort of group of words they do each week, some of the irregular words that they practice. Here, yes, on the screen, you can see some of our vocabulary worksheets on tests and things, which actually cover a range of different spelling rules as well, with the prefixes and suffixes and root words. Those kind of things, breaking the words down into their roots, prefixes, suffixes, endings, spelling rules, I before E and that kind of thing, getting those little phrases to help them remember. It takes a lot of small efforts with little tips and tricks like that to help you improve spelling. But it does take time and it does take effort. It won't happen overnight, as we said before.
Yes, that's correct. That's really well answered, Luis. Thank you so much. Okay, here is a question. How long is comprehension and creative writing video course? It's quite snappy, actually. You can finish it if you want within 4 to 5 days. You need to plan it really well. But it's not like kind of a long course, because we understand that the parents and of course the children, they are having overwhelming kind of work for 11 plus exams. So we kept it really short, snappy, and straight to the exam points to capture all the exam techniques, time management, and having the sufficient practice to give the maximum score for the child. Can my child, Julia is asking a question, can my child join the reading club for a few months? The only option shown on the website is to join for a whole year. Yeah, actually, we want children to join for a whole year, because if you join for a few months, I'm not sure how helpful that would be. But if you message me on my WhatsApp, then we can maybe start with half of the year. But usually, we recommend to have a full year package, because if you look at the cost, honestly speaking, one class is literally less than £5. If you look at the cost, it is, I think, 549, and we are covering 104 weeks, 104 classes. So the cost is like less than £5. So it is not expensive at all, and we can figure it out, something like that. Okay, I think I have finished all the questions. We are just in time. There are no further questions. Renuka, why don't you send our WhatsApp joining link here so that the parents can join our WhatsApp group, and they will get a lot of notifications about our new upcoming courses, new upcoming products, and everything. Great. So I wish every parent very, very good luck for their 11 plus exam preparation. And I will see you quite shortly for our 11 plus guided mock. So stay connected and have a lovely Sunday. Thank you very much, Liz. Thanks for
everyone.
coming. Thanks for joining.
Bye.
Thank you, everybody. Bye then.